Okay, right here is a 1941 Page Class 618 walking dragline. Now the Class 618 was part of Page's 600 series of draglines, which was introduced in the 1930s. At one time, this 618 was used to mine anthracite coal in Pennsylvania. Then eventually the machine was shut down out of service and parked and left here long abandoned and forgotten. And as you can see, the woods is slowly starting to grow in around this machine. Now these Page draglines are very unique machines, and they're also very different in their design and construction compared to a Bucyrus or Marion dragline, which is one of the things I'm going to do in this video, is take and show you some of the unique features and tell you some of the history about it. Now the Class 618 was set up with a dragline boom ranging anywhere from 100 to 120 feet. There's two booms on a 618. This is the main boom you see right here. The second boom that is pinned in the center is called the mast. The mast holds up the main boom, and the mast is supported by ropes that lead up and connect to the gantry. Right here on the front of the dragline, you can see the builder's plaque, and you can see where it says Page Engineering Company, manufactures from Chicago, Illinois, the machine number, and the class is a 618. One thing that really stood out about these small mid-sized Page walking draglines is just how high the whole house sits up off the ground. As you can see, this machine has a very large tub installed on it for its size. Under here you can get a view of all the individual rollers that'll swing the dragline when it's running. Now here's something that probably is what these Page draglines were mostly known for, and that's their unique walking system, which is completely different from a Bucyrus or Marion in its design. There's two sections to the walking system. This big piece you see right here is called the leg. Connected to it on the bottom with a ball bearing is the shoe, which you can see right here with some of the snow covered on it. Now, the leg is designed to move up and down and bend left or right. The shoe is given some flexibility over the uneven ground surfaces with its ball bearing mounting, but at the same time is connected to the leg by two ropes, one on each side of the shoe. You can see one right here that runs up to the top of the leg, and there would be another one on the opposite side. Those two ropes keep the shoe stable so it doesn't tend to bend or twist when the machine goes to walk. Even though this is a very unique design for a walking system, the idea is the same: to pick the back of the dragline up and slide the whole machine backward when it goes to travel. Now I'll take you up inside the house, show you the engine, the drums, and also take you up inside the operator's cab. Here's the inside of the 618. Now, this big shaft you see running across the floor here connects to the cranking gear to walk the machine. This connects to both shoes, one on each side, to the arms, which in turn, when it's engaged, will walk the machine. In the back here, you can see the two big sliding doors. They're opened up usually when the machine is running on a hot summer day to allow plenty of air circulation in back by the engine to keep it cool. Right here is the engine on the 618. Now you're looking at this engine and you're probably wondering, what kind of model is it? As you can see, it's not a Detroit, and no, it's not a Cummins. This is something that made these Page draglines so unique. The fact that Page Engineering Company designed and built their own diesel engines specifically for their walking draglines. The engine is very unique because it's designed to run at a very low RPM. The idea is to give the dragline a lot of low-end torque when it goes to dig. Another thing that's very unique about a Page engine is each cylinder has its own exhaust stack. You can see the three exhaust pipes running up through the roof to put the exhaust fumes up into the air. Right on the back here where I'm standing are the rear counterweights. These are actually concrete blocks that are set in place. They're not metal. The circular vent you see right there is where the radiator for the engine would normally have been installed to blow the hot air outside. Right here, you can see one of the big motors on this dragline, and you can see all the belts that run around this big shiv wheel to connect up to the engine to power the machine when it's running. In the front of the dragline, you can see the 3 windows. Here's a view looking back. The 2 drums, the one in the front is the hoist drum, and the one behind it is the drag drum. Right here, you can see where the drag rope runs out to pull the bucket in and out. You can see where side screening from inside of a coal breaker was welded over the chute right here. This is just a safety precaution, so if a mechanic or an operator were down here, the machine were running, and the drag rope were being pulled in, nobody would step in here and get tangled in with the rope. So the screen protected it. Right here, you can see the big swing motor that will swing the dragline left or right when it goes to run. Now, I'll take you up inside the operator's cab, which, as you can see, is up a level above the house. And here's the operator station on the 618. You can see 2 foot pedals on the floor, and all your hand levers would be out in front here. You can see a lot of them have been removed over time, but this one is still intact and functional. This is Pneumatic Power, and when you pull back on the handle pushes in one of the valves to make the machine do a certain function when it's running. You can see another controller right here to run the dragline. From here, you can get a good operator's view if you were running this machine. The main boom, as you can see, has been lowered down. The secondary boom, the mast, right there. And from back here, you can get a good view of the superstructure on this machine. You can see the big I-beams that connect to support the walking system, the legs on both sides. The gantry is also very unique in its design. As you can see, it's pinned in 3 points to allow the maximum amount of stress to be equalized across the superstructure of the machine. You can see where it's connected in the back, in the center, and in the front right here. And the ropes there go up to hold up the mast, which in turn will hold up the dragline boom. This big shiv wheel you see right here is where the hoist cable runs out of, and runs all the way up to the top of the dragline, down through the other sheet to pick the dragline bucket up and down. Right here you can see where an electric fan was welded in place to blow a lot of cool air on the drums. Any of these big walking drag lines, the drums always have a tendency to get hot when they're running all day. So the fan right here would be used to blow cool air to keep the drums cool. And right here you can see one of the air compressors on this machine. Right here is what's called your fair lead. This is where the drag rope runs out of, and the purpose of this is to keep the drag rope further away from the front of the machine, so when the bucket is being casted out or reeled in, the rope doesn't tend to fishtail back and forth and tear the side of the house of this machine apart. On this side, you can see the U.S. Patent Plaque. The last date, February 4th, 1941, is when this machine was built. And here you can get another view of the opposite side of this drag line. Over here is the machine's bucket. The 618 is a 5-yard machine. It could also be set up with a 4-yard bucket, depending on what size boom was installed on the drag line. And again, take note just how long the house is on the machine to support the design of the drums and the engine in the back. But there she is, a Page Class 618 walking dragline, built in 1941.